These two heatsinks have the exact same footprint, same size, same fan, basically the same chunk of aluminium. But the one on the right gets rid of more than twice the heat of the one on the left. I didn't design it, an algorithm did, over about 30 CFD simulations. And over this series, I'm going to show you exactly how it did that and how you can do it too. Welcome back to the channel where we don't just run CFD, we take it apart to see what makes it tick. If you're new here, that's kind of the whole vibe. We don't just run tutorials, we go one layer deeper. And this is start of a series that I've been wanting to make since a long time. In this series, we're going to wrap OpenFOAM in Python, run hundreds of simulations automatically, and let a Bayesian optimizer find the best possible design for a heatsink. 7 episodes, from a blank Python file to a fully validated, optimized design. And every line of code is going up on GitHub, so you can run the whole thing yourself. But before any of that, we need to ask an important question. Why bother optimizing a heatsink at all? Let's talk about it. Every chip you own is basically a tiny electric heater. The harder it works, the more heat it dumps out. And heat is the enemy. If it's got nowhere to go, the chip gets hotter and hotter until it does the only thing it can to survive. It slows itself down. That's thermal throttling. Your expensive processor quietly running below its potential because it can't stay cool. That's where the heatsink comes in. Its whole job is to take heat from that hot surface and dump it into the air. And it does in 2 steps. First, conduction. Heat climbs up out of the base and into the fins through the solid metal. Then convection. Air flows past those fins and carries the heat away. Cold air in, hot air out. And here's what makes this interesting. The shape of those fins, how many, how thick, and how tall completely changes how well that works. So the real question becomes, what is the best possible shape? Now, best is a slippery word. Before we can actually optimize anything, we have to turn good into a number, because otherwise I could just cheat. I could always get rid of heat by just making the heatsink enormous, more metal, more surface, more cooling. But that's not clever, that's just expensive and heavy. So the number we actually care about is this one, Q over V. Q is the heat we get rid of in watts. V is the volume of aluminium we spent to do it. Watts per cubic centimeter, it rewards efficiency, not brute force. Hold on to one number for me. Our starting design, the baseline, scores about 1.08 watts per cubic centimeter. This number is the villain of this whole series. Everything we do from here is about beating it. If you'd rather think in temperature, there's the flip side of the same coin, thermal resistance. How many degrees hotter the chip actually runs for every watt it will dump. The baseline is about 2.1, lower is better, so keep both of these in the back of your mind. Okay, so what can we actually change? It comes down to 3 knobs. How many fins, how thick each one is, and how tall they are. That's it, 3 numbers. And your instinct is probably easy, just cram in as many fins as possible. More fins, more surface area, more cooling, right? Well, not quite. Pack too many fins together and you choke off the airflow trying to squeeze between them. Make them too thin and they can't carry heat to their tips. Make them too tall and the top just sits in air that's already warm. Every knob you turn fights the other two. And that is exactly the kind of tangled 3-way trade-off that a human is bad at. And an optimizer is really good at it. There's no simple turn this one up and the answer is correct. The sweet spot is a specific combination of all 3 and it is not really obvious. And here's how we crack it across the series. 3 phases. Phase 1. We sweep each knob at a time just to build intuition and see how each one behaves on its own. Phase 2, we bring in Bayesian optimization and let it search all 3 knobs together, intelligently learning from every simulation it runs. And phase 3, we take whatever it finds and validate it with the expensive, high-fidelity physics to make sure the winner is real and not just gaming our simplified model. And I'm going to be honest with you about the results here because that's kind of the whole point of this channel. The optimizer more than doubled our score, and even after I stress tested the winner with a full conjugate heat transfer simulation, the slow, accurate, proper physics, it still came out about 87% better than the baseline. Thermal resistance dropped from 2.1 down to about half a degree per watt. Same footprint, same fan. But there's one part of this that genuinely bugged me, and it's sort of the reason I wanted to make the whole series in the first place. The design that won, it has 11 fins, each one barely a millimeter thick. That's thinner than a coin. And every instinct I have as an engineer screams that that should choke the airflow and cook itself. It shouldn't work, but it does. It's the best design we found. And figuring out why is basically the journey of this series. But we can't talk about beating a number until we actually have one. So next episode we build that baseline heatsink from scratch, and from a blank Python file all the way to a full OpenFOAM result, and we get the number that everything else has to beat. If that sounds like your kind of thing, please hit subscribe so you don't miss this build. The whole project is going to go on GitHub as we go, link right here. And I'll see you in the next one. Keep your residuals low.